I do apologize for that. Technical difficulties and all.
And my game just crashed.
Uh, this is a
Wow.
professional stream, everyone. It's a professional stream.
Wow. I mean, not even like, oh, hey, by the way, this game is crashing, or this game's not going to load, or nope, straight to desktop. Here you go.
All
Might as well have
right,
hit Alt F4.
here we go, folks. Orange Squadron jumping out of hyperspace with their MC-75, flying it into battle. And coming out of the MC-75, out of hyperspace, we got Tortuga, we got Chewbacca Raka, Sinric Sinister, Hobbs, Staffy. And then on Storm Chasers, we have Wedge, Kriegzilla, Zero Gravitas, Cosmokazi, and Platypus. So I'm going to follow the perspective of Platypus here, well-known farmer for Storm Chasers. Platypus looks to be lining up their X-Wing packs here. I'm sorry, it looks like I have a bit of controller drift, everybody. So I'll try to keep that organized. Switch into the perspective of Zero. It looks like Storm Chasers have already taken the flip. Glimmer, what did you see there on that dogfight?
Looked like the support's Hobbs was trying to chase down Cosmokazi a bit, but they bonked around inside the tunnel. That put both the supports out of the fight after the initial beacon, and that left Sinric and Staffy without any resupplies, and they got torn apart by those defenders. That's what those two PK kills really got their foot form leading before the farm.
Yep, and you really see the PK pressure from the Empire team really coming into play there. This Nebulon Shields has been long since stripped. It's down to about 50% in the hull. And they're just tearing into it. Looks like Cosmokazi was able to get in and get the marks off, and they're just going to town here, folks. Look at that damage pour in, and this morale bar is not even at half. Really good stuff here. And wow, that is bad camera drift I'm getting there, folks. Sorry about that. Let's see what the NR side is doing here. It looks like Sinric is looking to PK a bit here on Kriegzilla. I believe they just took down the Raider. So they're just a few farm away here from flipping it, and then the NR side will get their turn at an attack. And there it is. So I'm going to switch to the perspective of Hobbs here. And I don't know, Glimmer, do you think the NR team can... Oh, look at that out of phase coming already. Wow. I think they're in trouble here, Glimmer.
Oh, absolutely. It was a fairly standard beginning run, and it was good that they kept him to only getting the one cruiser down. But that out of phase was really putting them out, and especially they took a couple doors, and one of them missed. They know they hit that pack into almost half morale gone already, and the New Republic team's only just gotten the Alpha shields down. And with the support from beacons on the Corvette, which is what Hobbs was doing to the Corvette the last flip, yeah, makes for a really fast Corvette burn.
How quick was that defense? Oh my goodness. Like, you didn't even get a chance to complete your thought there. And it's already back to Storm Chasers. Excellent, excellent defense by Storm Chasers here. And now they only got one Nebulon to chew through here. I'm going to switch to the perspective of Cosmokazi. Let's see if the Pancake can get in safely, get the marks. Looks like using the cover of the SLE station to get in. Really well done. Marks are off. Really strong stuff there from Cosmokazi. Really good job using the terrain there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
And that's what they were doing in the beginning too. Cosmokazi ducking inside the station to avoid pressure from staff from Sinric and Hobbs. That's what put Hobbs out of the fight for the beginning there.
Yep, Cosmokazi finally going down there, but well after they got the marks in. This Nebulon is in safe out-of-phase territory, and it looks like they're going to push into the MC-75 here. Zero Gravitas is lining up the visual right shield gen, making an ion gen run. What do you see here, Glimmer?
Yep. Looking like Platypus is still going in hard. Without the resupplies from Cosmo, though, they're taking a little bit of damage. That doesn't stop them from getting the shield down, though. Even though they've got both of the X-Wings on top of them, probably rightfully so. That Raider still isn't down, though. That might cost them. Although it's going down. There it goes. And that's the flip.
Yep.
So that's still a shield disaber and a shield destroyer.
And Orange Squadron has a light cruiser and a half to go through here. Yeah, I mean, you got to say the Storm Chasers had this game well in hand. They just went on that partial morale attack, took care of a shield gen, disabled the other. That means once they flip this back, that is a wide open MC-75, Glimmer.
Absolutely. And they are already, and again, once again, Cosmicon is focusing what he needs to, puts the marks on the Corvette and takes the shields out with ion lasers, saves the ion missiles on his team's PKs for taking out the bombers. And there goes, they do just that. Staffy Cat is down. That's already half morale flipped pretty much back to them without the Corvette down, which is probably going to give them the flip like they did last time.
Right, you are. This is just very, very clinical stuff here from the Storm Chasers. Clearly, I've been well trained by their Jedi Masters over at Tempest. There goes the flip again, and things are looking grim for the New Republic here. Zero Gravitas making her way into the MC-75. Let's see if we can get a targeting computer read on that. Yep, the shields are... Looks like they're partially back up, but those are at brutable levels. Well, looks like it's about at half. Okay, but there go the shields again. Right shield gen was just disabled there.
Yep.
Now it looks like they'd be working on targeting.
Yep, long enough to put the marks on, and that's what all it took for the defenders. Oh, wow. There's a beautiful weak spot chain right up the back there. 3 weak spots in a row taken out. That's one very badly mauled MC-75.
Yep, targeting is still up, and that's going to be another 8 or 9% of the hull integrity there. This MC-75 is down to 16 on the hull and dropping rapidly. It is re-beacon. Oh, but there comes the flip. But I do think they can take it right here, even as the phase changes. 3, 2, 1. Down goes the MC-75, and game 1 goes to the Storm Chasers.
So much for the New Republic. All pilots return to the ship.
Great uniform there.
Nice
Great uniform right there.
Yep.
So I'm going to pull up the scoreboard. Caleb, what did you see from that game?
What I saw was a whole lot of really good fundamentals. So when we talk about this game, it's got the first part, the flip. Then you have the initial fight with the two raiders. Then you have the defense and offense, and then you have the response. Right. What I saw in each time from Storm Chasers was a fast flip. You got that very quickly with the 2 PKs, and then you also, with the farm, and then you had the PK. So you had very good numbers right off the bat. Now, if you actually look at the farm numbers, Storm Chasers did not do as well, but it was when it happened. So when you get those morale, it's easy to respond if they kind of trickle in. But if you get those things in a very big burst, then it's impossible to respond to. So the biggest part I saw was the fast flip in the beginning, which enabled them to get their offense started going really quickly. That actually went on for quite some time. The defense did not end as quickly as it needed to in order to stem the tide of damage that was coming in, enabling them to get an out of phase. And then what I saw on the offense there, the only way I could describe it was surgical on the frigates. They went down quickly, they focused, and they kept the deaths to a minimum, and they kept damage high. When it did flip, because it did come back, because if you look at the farm numbers from the Orange Squadron, it's actually pretty good. They nailed down their farm numbers, but they wasn't in a timely fashion. So that's it, because of how it trickled in. It wasn't fast enough for them to be able to get that big burst. They were able to keep up with it because they have 66 AI between Chewbacca and Staffy Cat, but it's still not enough.
Looks like I'm having some technical difficulties with the stream. I apologize. Go ahead and continue. I'm trying to work on that.
No problem. So then afterwards, what I'm looking at is I'm also seeing cap ship numbers. They just seem to pour in from Storm Chasers, but it looked like we got Torutaka and Cindric that were able to put some pretty big hurt on for the opposite ships. But if you look at Chewbacca and Hobbs here, they were not able to put up some of the numbers that the Flexes were able to do. So that might have been an area of opportunity. But I know it was so quick, it doesn't because of how well the Storm Chasers did and how streamlined it was, it doesn't accurately describe the level of flying we still saw from Orange Squadron. So we did, you see 28 and 38. Those are no small numbers for AI. So those are great numbers for AI. And you still see, even with their brief offense that they had, almost 50k of damage from Torotaka and Sinric. So what I'm saying is a very well flied game that where the score is quickly decided, but it doesn't indicate the level of flying that you would have seen from both sides. That was a well flied game on both sides.
Absolutely. I apologize, everybody, for the technical difficulties. So stream. What you guys are seeing is my PlayStation 5 streamed to this laptop. Now, it was in the proper aspect ratio, and I did, JP, I did do the fit the window, but that didn't work, so I have to manually drag it there. So for whatever reason, when I was clicking around in the different windows, um, it went to that super zoomed in screen, so that's no good. So I apologize for that, folks. And I have an idea about how to get that is
was not was trying to obviously not let Cosmo. I mean, the support is obviously super important, but I don't think with the way that Cosmikaze is playing that they were going to be able to get the marks out, and it's the bombers, and we saw it in the capture damage numbers that were posted last game. It was the bombers that just did that surgically removed the frigates, and the speed on which the frigate phase was gone was really what lost them that last game because they weren't able to keep up with the same speed. So I think shutting down the bombers will be how they win this one, especially because on the New Republic side, it's easier to take out a Y-wing with even with a support than it is to take out a TIE bomber with a support.
absolutely.
Especially if you can get those dunks on. So taking those bombers out really takes away their ability to get the frigates um, hurt on time, and I think that'll be how they win this one. And then also just making sure they step up and concentrate on their attack phases because I saw a couple of those attack phases. A couple of them were um, off and pursuing or trying to damage the other type, and they weren't all five focused on one thing, which led to a little bit of a slower attack phase.
Right. I love the coordination of the uniforms there on the New Republic side from Storm Chasers, and they did a synchronized sack solo there at the end. But back to the game at hand. They're loaded in, jumping out of the hyperspace against the MC-75 and the Storm Chasers, led by Zero Gravitas and X-Wing. So we got, for the New Republic, Storm Chasers, Kriegzilla, Platypus, Wedge, Cosmokaze, and Zero Gravitas, and then flying out of the Imperial Star Destroyers, Torotaka, Sinric, Staffy Cat, Chewbacca, and Hobbs. Switching over to the perspective of Wedge. Looks like he is opting to go after the TIE Bombers. He gets another Chewbacca. Looks like they're opting to double up on the TIE Bomber. That TIE Bomber's down to 9 on the hull. Chewbacca really needs that resupply. Otherwise, this is going to be a huge hit to purchase fire. There it is. There's the resupply. What are you seeing over there, Cliff?
I'm seeing exactly what I thought we might see from Orange Squadron. They are putting the pressure hard on those bombers, especially Platypus. And because we saw from the last game, and I think especially side, Platypus was just out there doing all the damage. And right now they're keeping Platypus in. He's not able to do anything.
All that being said, this morale bar is about at 50-50%. GG had a little bit here in the farm, so maybe like Platypus would get over to him. Torotaka turned their attention, and the rest of the team turned their attention to the Corvette, and that's dropping pretty fast. If they take this, they're one AI from the flip. Let's see if they can find that
One
AI.
from the flip.
There it is.
Corvette destroyed.
Am I reading this right? Did the Storm Chaser
It
take that?
it just switched.
I'm baffled. Do you sit down and happen?
I saw
I-
AI.
Did,
Wow.
I did not.
That was something.
That was a very, very, very synchronized takedown of what must have been the Corvette and 2 AI packs at the same time flipped in their favor. Although this attack phase might not be super long, they definitely got those shields down, but Kriegzilla, half of their bomber force was taken down at the middle and was not able to come in. Platypus doing their job though, taking a whole lot of damage down on that because it's already half health.
Yeah, they're certainly making most of this attack phase. I don't think I've ever seen morale bar in the dogfight so much. That was like 99% Rich's favor, and it just got ripped away from them in an instant. I've never seen it before.
For sure. Yeah, it looks like that cruiser is going to be out of phase. Well, a Storm Chaser's making the most out of their attack phase here, and they might get a little bit more damage. No, not quite on those shields, but that was a fantastic attack phase there, making sure that trigger got out of phase, even with only half the bombers.
Enemy fleets in range.
Out of it.
Destroy them
Now
sending
back
in
from
advance
you
on
gotta
MC
figure they
75.
might be able to. I mean, I'm pretty secure with my belt so from that opener. And if I'm playing the game, I might be worse. Let's see if there's as I say that, no catch this person. Look at that morale bar here from Force Squadron on this attack. They're already down to about 1 morale, and they just now got the shields down.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think I can see a little bit of why that's happening here on the bomber phase from Kriegzilla. Krieg is all up inside of the Imperial zone here and farming away at the TIE fighters as they spawn. That's basically put the morale on their side immediately, and that Raider's going to go down in mere seconds here, and that frigate is not out of phase. There goes the flip.
Now, this is a map where where SCLs, where the AI farm is really strong. They can put a stiff arm defense here. They can certainly find themselves back in the game, but I mean, wow, Storm Chasers really, really impressive stuff here. They're already on top of Delta. Shields are just about to go down. I'm going to switch over to Zero Gravitas. A lot. And looks like both of these exits are going to torpedoes, and that's certainly great for understand Zero Gravitas back around, lining up torpedoes. Optimus shooting down enemies. Usually don't see those kind of torpedo moves, but hey, it works. Usually you see attacks from the energy side, and this cruiser is just about out of phase. Now, good job on the farm here from Force Squadron, and I don't know if you're seeing a lot of PK. I noted that in game 1 there was only 3 player kills, so there's a lot of AI farming and Raider birds if the phase now. This cruiser's down 5%.
I'm definitely seeing a little more PK side, and it's like I said, those bombers, we need to put them out so that they can basically blunt Storm Chaser's offenses here, even though it doesn't really seem like it's been going that way. Kriegzilla's been taken out, I believe, 3 times already, and that's due to a lot. And Platypus, I don't think once, but he's been low health multiple times and had to resupply. So I think Cosmokaz's had to go back, and that's a lot more PK pressure than there was before, which might help a little bit with the farm here, although not much. You can Platypus and Kriegzilla's absolutely dominating you.
Right, and
Yeah, I flipped the phase again.
All that Y-wing pressure on the Y-wings, and yeah, they're getting their farm in, and that morale's going in. And now Orange has to defend the Star Destroyer. Well, Cindric is over here trying to out-phase this Nebulon. I don't know about this. If I was the Flex, I'd want to be back here defending the shield generators with the IST. Switching to Tura, talking here, lining up Platypus, trying to box her out. We already got wet here.
Shields to shields on our flanks.
Looks like they got the double disable, so shields has some perspective.
Enemy fighters attacking the path.
They have their Star Destroyer wide open. Power system is down. Shields are down. It's wide open. Explosives are available. Downwards will be lit. Oh, but Zero Gravitas is down. Can she escape out of this? Yes, she can. She's skipping it. She's skipping her way out of that. Round is away from the Storm Chasers. The Star Destroyer is dropping out of that way. You gotta think this is easily out of phase for the Storm Chasers.
Oh, absolutely. Their command of the morale of this attack phase, and that defense phase is quite phenomenal. The Orange Squadron didn't even get that frigate down there. I didn't even have the time. They didn't even get the frigate down to out of phase. They were already tearing the Star Destroyer apart. That double disabled from
Now
utterly
goes the Imperial Star Destroyer. Like, again, before we can even finish our thoughts, Clever, things are happening really quick on the side of the Storm Chasers. What an impressive sweep over Orange Squadron. Massive 3 points for Storm Chasers. The borrower phrase from Nerdy Northerner over there, really showing they belong up here in the Elite Division.
Oh, absolutely. And you can see, they really the pressure on Kriegzilla shows three deaths there, but the inability to kill Platypus really came for them. That
Not only did
41 AI
Platypus
kills
get
was
41, I'm sorry to jump in, 41 AI, but also 60k caption damage, almost 61k caption. That's really, really good for a Y-Wing. And
absolutely,
see,
and those proton torpedoes on the X-wing.
Right. Now, yeah, Kriegzilla, like was clear the PK target, died 3 times, still chipped in 24k, more than made up for it by the other teammates. So, they saw that he was the target, and clearly they had more than enough in their torpedo tubes and their laser cannons to make up for it. Caleb, what did you see out of that game?
One of the things that we've talked about with Squadrons quite a bit is when we had that initial flip, the one where we're talking about the initial dogfight. You got the Raider and you got the Corvette going at each other. Most of the time, if you get that flip, that most of the time that ends up being a W for you, just because that sets the table for the rest of the match. That one change, I think, really threw Orange Squadron for a loop. I mean, you, me, and XP were always talking about it while we were in the game, and we were dumbfounded by how fast that flipped. I can only imagine how that felt, and if you were actually piloting. So
Yeah.
it completely flipped. It was. Remember last game I was talking when we were analyzing the data before about how those farming numbers come in, how the morale bar moves when it comes in, and how it comes in is equally important as the actual numbers themselves. So if you remember me from saying that before, that's the a best example I can give you for that exact thing. They were losing that morale bar completely. Orange Squadron was not able to finish off that morale bar. You said it. It was missing one AI, maybe two, and it just needed to be finished off so that they can get that initial offense. They couldn't quite get it. Instead, it enabled a well-timed Corvette and two-pack kills that changed the entirety of that match. So being able to finish that morale bar is everything. So if you can extend it by just a little bit, that things like that happen.
Something I want to say though is that, like, how often do you play a game of Squadron? Like one AI, and usually it takes you a good, I don't know, 5 seconds to get it at least.
Yeah,
That couldn't have been
yeah.
more than 5 seconds that they had the one AI away, and all of a sudden they had the whole morale bar rip away. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was 10, 15, 20 seconds later and they couldn't find it, and then you see the bar kind of, slowly drift away from you. But that was an instantaneous rip. So they had to have gotten the Raider, which would have brought the morale bar to half. Clear though.
Baywatch to like crush every.
Totally. So
The 2-2-1.
I always